Well, greetings and welcome to Mofo TV. Definitely tonight we are addressing a deeply disturbing and tragic event that has shaken our nation. That is the assassination of a Kasipul member of parliament who is Charles Ong'ondo Were. Definitely that is the most trending issue tonight, and that is what we should be discussing today. And our guests who definitely usually transact the issues with on our digital eye, that is Vincent Okinda, is currently held up somewhere on a traffic jam, but will immediately be joining us later on. So definitely there have been some issues about the same, that is assassination, but then there's also I've had a number of issues that has been on the same. That is about the major developing story that has already introduced, which is with the reports highlighting the shock and the grief following the shooting death in Nairobi, and also the investigations are underway, and these families calling for answers regarding the security of the member of parliament who was just assassinated in the Nairobi. So definitely that is another issue, the major issue that we shall be discussing. Also today has been a holiday, that is Labor Day, celebrations and workers issues, where today being the Labor Day, there has been a significant coverage of events and speeches. We are having the key topics, including the calls of better wages by Atwoli, who is a court secretary, has been advocating for deductions based on net pay. We also had the cost of living and the President Ruto's remarks on job creation and economic reforms, where we've had so many reports indicating that workers feel there isn't much to celebrate due to the current economic hardship. We also had Tolly still saying that we need to regulate our social media, definitely, because we've had some number of youths misusing and maybe the freedom of social expression in the social media, calling for President Ruto's to ouster in office, that is. And then definitely on the finance bill has also been a major issue today. And we've had discussions and reactions. That is on the Finance Bill 2025. We saw the Finance Bill 2024 bringing so many issues that has actually sparked so many reactions, seeing BBC also covering a documentary on the same about the blood parliament that is trending. And now we are coming in, we're almost edging to the financial year, that's June. We shall be also discussing about the Finance Bill 2025, where we've had discussions and reactions to the proposed Finance Bill continue to be a trending issue. We also with the debates surrounding potential tax changes and their impacts. And also on the other issues about the President Ruto's engagement. We've had various news outlets covering President Ruto's activities and statements, including the Labor Day speech that actually gave out today, and his defense of government policies and his remarks on international relations, e.g. that is the ties with China. We've also other social and political issues where reports also cover topics like land disputes, education funding, and the passing of former Maseno School principal Paul Otuola, where there is so much that we are going to actually to transact today on the digital eye. So if you are those who are the new, actually those guys who are streaming in and you're new on this platform, kindly consider subscribing. My name is Bobby J, Big Boy Jesse, Pablito, Jesse Julius Mcheni, and those who are joining us live, welcome back. This is the digital eye. Definitely behind the cameras is the eagle himself, Collins, and our director, who is Boge himself, they call him SL Media, the director, SL Media. And also on the other end, the guy who is the host of the Ong'ondo show, who was actually to join us on this digital eye, but definitely he's held up in the traffic, but he'll be with us some few minutes to come. So as discussing about this issue to do the assassination, there are so many people talking about it. Everyone wants to speak about it. But who is this Were? Charles Ong'ondo. He's an MP of Kasipul. Is it Kasipul? I think my director will be talking about the same. Now, this guy, what happened is that there's so many people who are negative about the death. And there are a number of people also who are positive about the death. Why? Because there's a number of remarks that has actually been surfacing on online, definitely about him, that he's been a dictator, definitely he's been, he's been involved. That is just some allegation that he's been involved in a number of cases that has led to the death of a number of youths, those who are pro and anti. Those who are anti his leadership, that is back to his constituency. So, there's something before, away from that, I want us now to discuss how was this assassination carried out? How did it take place about the Charles Ong'ondo Were after that is the attack? And then we also talk about how it was actually taken down and how does the order of the path threats about the same. So the Charles Ong'ondo actually was shot dead on the evening of April, that was 30th, 2025 in Nairobi. And then the attack occurred on Ngong Road. Definitely it's a busy highway while his vehicle stopped at a traffic light. So what has come out clearly is that this guy, this MP, just from the parliament, he some threats about, on the assassination of his life, definitely. But so he had to change a car. So the car he was using, he had to use another different brand of a car, white in color. And what happens is that on a traffic light, when they stopped, there were some gunmen on our motorcycle, 2 of them, who carried out the attack. And we had the reports that indicate that they had been trailing his vehicle for a distance. So definitely they were keeping watch, and then of course they had a calculated move about the same. So they had the gunmen targeted the MP, where we had the report saying that one of them, definitely who had boarded the motorcycle, had maybe, I think for a number of kilometers, they were after him, the motorcycle. And then, so when the car that had actually ferrying this MP Ong'ondo stopped at the traffic lights, we saw them. Actually, it's reported that the gunmen on a close range shoot, had to actually, I don't know if my sound is so well. Director, I think, is working on it. So what are they saying? The gunmen targeted the MP with the report saying that one of them, and actually on a close range, had a shot to this MP. We are told the driver and the bodyguard were reported to be unharmed. So what were these targetings and the premeditated about the same? The police have stated that the attack appears to be a targeted and a premeditated assassination, with suggestions that the killing was a planned and that the MP was specifically targeted. So why should this be a target? Why should he be a target? Definitely there are some speculations about maybe a failed deal, maybe a misunderstanding about some deal elsewhere, because why should somebody just come in that target you when definitely in Nairobi? Now, there's also concerns about the same. On our busy highway, we've heard it that there are some CCTV cameras, definitely. But then there is no footage that has come out clear till now, but unless if it's going to come in some hours later, about how the plan was carried out or how the shooting was carried out along definitely the Ngong Road. So after some times now, the threats now, what are these threats that are actually posing about the same conduct? Is that the reports indicate that this MP Charles Ong'ondo Were had previously voiced concerns about the threats to his life that I already mentioned earlier. And now we have reactions and investigations definitely that are going on. We've had President William Ruto, who has called for a thorough investigation into the killing. We've also had other political figures, definitely the former Prime Minister, Mr. Raila Amolo Odinga, who has joined the broad-based government, has also condemned the assassination, having given a letter and a statement from the ODM. And then there are also calls from the family of the deceased for speedy and thorough investigation about the same. We've had MPs actually visiting the morgue with some heavy guzzlers coming in, also been calling for the DCI to perform a thorough investigation, where we've had also the Mumias East MP, Mumias East MP, who has also actually called about the same, Peter Salasia. He actually, the problem, he was requesting about how can he come with some special gadgets. He never mentioned the gadgets himself, but he mentioned the gadgets, that how we can come up with the gadgets that are able to sense suspicions or threats on our roads. But could there be? I don't know if those guys who are well versed with the IT can help us in that. But then there's also another issue that we added to. In fact, as Omo for TV, those are not our opinions, but we are condemning the act, and we expressing a strong condemnation of the assassination as a heinous and unacceptable act, and therefore we're emphasizing that such violence has no place in our democratic society. And therefore now, how the nature of the act, I don't know if we can now maybe highlight the targeted nature. There's some policies preliminary assessment that this was premeditated and maybe targeted assassination days. But this underscores the seriousness of the crime. Why? Also want to briefly describe how the attack unfolded. Gunmen on a motorcycle shooting at a close range while the vehicle was stopped. Does it mean, definitely it was still earlier, around 7:30 when the act had been carried out? Does it mean that we had no traffic police on the way? Does it mean that definitely the bodyguard was not armed? But why should we just shoot the MP and then leave the driver and also leave the bodyguard? Does it even raise concerns? Because if this happened at their eyesight, that means they are able to tell. If they're able to to see the faces of those guys, if they were able maybe to, at least they are people who should be under an arrest, maybe to go discuss this issue well with the DCI. So that is what actually is has been taking place. And now what happens, the aftermath of such a thing, what should happen? Now we are having the laws of a constituent in the nation. So we have had such a case definitely about the MCA who from the Madari North who actually is claimed that he was poisoned and then definitely he is lost. So there seems to be having some political assassinations coming back in our nation. Do we call ourselves democratic if such things are happening in our nation? As a time where we're expecting a finance bill, at a time where we are having the anti-government adjoining the government to form a broad-based government. So those are some of the concerns that we need to raise as a country, where now the issue also over security, the concerns about security over the MPs, the security over our common mwananchi. If such a public figure as an MP in a country, such a thing, heinous thing can happen to him, what can happen to a common mwananchi? So today, we are not going to have so much fun on our show because we are talking about things that are pertinent to our nation, things that are not to make fun of, but definitely that is what we had planned for you. I don't know if there is any comments being made on that are being forwarded to me. Maybe we see who are joining in. Good. I think they are still being sent in. So now the implications about the same. What are the impacts on the political climate? We are seeing assassinations being carried out. Do they create fear and uncertainty within the political sphere? We also need to touch upon the potential broader implications on the country's political stability. Does it mean it will interfere with the unity, the peace in our country? Now, is the rule of law being upheld? Because this one underscores the importance of upholding the rule of law and ensuring that those responsible are held accountable to prevent future such incidents. We've seen now also some Ogola who actually left men, and people are not satisfied with the report that was given with the military. We've seen also talked about the MCA who was gone. A number of people have actually lost their lives in some act that cannot be explained. So what is it? How do we have to prevent such an incident from occurring again later in life? So definitely that is what we've been talking about, the digital eye. And I know next time we shall still have more to talk about. We've seen Pope Francis, who actually was buried the other day, and the process of choosing a new pope is still underway, where we've had a number of, I think there are one or two from Ghana, who is actually reading the rest for the to be selected maybe on those who representatives from Africa. So there's so many things that are coming in that happened from the political scope. We have the economic scope. We have the actually also sports and arena, where we shall have Vincent taking charge of that. So many thanks for those who've been joining the discussion on the same. There's still so much to be discussed, but for that, I think we have to call it a day. And many thanks to our cameraman that's been behind the cameras, director, and many people coming in. And my name is VJ Big Boy Jesse Publicist Julius Msheni, kaka, braza, kijana bila mazua. Mambo ni mingi, lakini kila wakati tunajipanga ili tuyaitimize, tuifanikishe kaisho ya digital